Ready?
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Don't fuck up the beginning.
How would I? I'm Dennis.
Sorry,
I'm Dennis. I'm Dennis. Hello, welcome to episode 46.
No, you're not Dennis.
The Tatao has brought you here.
I reckon that'd be an awesome intro.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to do it. It's racist. Apparently.
How about Sean does?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's still racist. Yeah, so... Hello and welcome to episode 46 of Things We Play. It's Tuesday the 27th of November. I don't know what day it is. I don't know. Hello and welcome to episode 20... No. Hello. Hello. Hello and welcome to episode 46 of Things We Play. It's Tuesday the 4th of December. 4 little chocolates in your calendar gone. My name's Mike Oldman. I am joined by Sean Hart.
Yeah.
And Joe Tanetta.
Hello.
Today we're going to talk about some games. But before we talk about games, we're going to talk about some other stuff that, fills time. Makes the intro interesting. Lets people know a little bit about us. Get to know you, Joe. Get to know you deep.
Yeah, I don't think people want to know me that deep.
It's the 4th of December, which means it's fucking cold. I think it's official to say that. It also means that Christmas is just around the corner. I wasn't joking, Joe. 4 days on your calendar should have been open now.
Yeah, I may have eaten the entire thing.
Oh man!
What, the box as well?
It's like that extra. It's like that extra. Yeah, just all in one go. Like, to get just about the same amount of chocolate you get in a Mars bar.
I don't need to see the pictures.
But it's kind of that thing, isn't it? Like that does happen. I thought that on the first when I got my calendar, my mum got me a calendar, and I thought I could just eat all this, right? And that's the thing that changes as you get older. When you're a kid, you can't do that. That's bad. When I was a kid, growing up with my younger brother as well, as 2 years younger than me, I used to steal chocolates from his calendar.
Right.
But I wasn't just like willy-nilly taking chocolate. Like the 9th, I'll have that one. No, that doesn't make
Christmas Day for
that doesn't make any sense.
Like,
no,
you're counting backwards. The
I
25th
thought about it. I put a lot of thought into it. I went for the chocolates where he would be the most excited on the days and more likely to forget about his calendar. So Christmas Eve was one. Okay, if there's a Christmas Day, rare in a calendar, but you sometimes get it. So that one would go. The 17th, because that's his birthday. And I figure, like, if you're too excited for presents, you wouldn't want that. The 23rd, because that's my birthday. And before you knew it,
excited on your birthday.
I know, exactly. I was just at that point, I was hooked on chocolate. But it got to the point where slowly the tail end, from about the 15th onwards, there's just no chocolate in his calendar. I do the same to mine, so you can get it back. So I just wanted the chocolate. But now that you're an adult, you can just, if you want, you could open every door.
Yeah.
You know?
So were you just opening the doors and taking out the chocolate? You weren't like opening up the bottom and sliding out the tray?
No. I would sort of carefully tear the perforated doors open and then try and put them back.
Okay.
Because we used to do that anyway. I don't know, like this is calendar etiquette, right? Interesting conversation. Do you leave the doors open or closed?
You leave them open to show that you've done that day.
Yeah,
itself.
but I like them closed. I'm leaving them open now, as you can see from my one over there.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I always used to leave them closed.
You're
so it was,
such a
you could
neat
do that.
freak, it's
just,
insane.
I want to see the picture on the front, you know?
I don't.
Of Santa juggling Mars bars or whatever the normal thing is on the front of these things.
I'm not a big fan of those advent calendars that have the days scattered all over it. I prefer it in a nice
Oh
order.
man, I was convinced yesterday that number 3 was not even on my calendar. And it could have been because it is the cheapest, nastiest calendar I've ever had in my life. Right? I appreciate now that I'm in my 30s. I don't need my parents to buy me an advent calendar every year, but they still do. But now, because the family's much bigger, they buy calendars for loads of kids, right? So they've got cheaper. They've gone down, right? And mine is just, it's one, that's not chocolate. B, I'm not sure that's even cardboard. There's nothing protecting the chocolate. You open the door and it's just there, and you're like, I'm not sure we store chocolate in like loose cardboard.
No, you've got to think about how long that calendar has been in like
Exactly.
mass storage, right?
Well, it's probably a 1991 calendar.
What do they say about cans of drink, about how many mice have pissed on it?
Yeah, it's true.
Just like cardboard soaks up mice urine.
Yeah, it's not good. I spent £20 this year on a calendar for my daughter. £20.
It's a special calendar, though.
It's a Lego calendar, right?
Okay, yeah.
You've
So
not
you
got
don't.
Kinder Egg
yeah.
chocolate in there.
No, exactly. There's no chocolate in it at all. You just get, you get
A
Lego
Lego piece.
pieces. But £20, and it's shit. Little girl Lego friends.
Yeah.
Which is she'll love it. She does love it. But it's not the Lego. It's not the Lego I'm looking for.
No.
You know? But yeah, £20, Joe. £20 for a calendar.
'Cause I know
that happens once in your life. I feel. It happens when you're 3 and never again.
I know they do like a Star Wars branded one of those, but I don't know if they do a Marvel one. I'll be interested in getting myself a Marvel
Marvel one,
Lego
yeah.
calendar.
And now's the time to, because I wonder what the price. Like calendars drop in price immediately, right after the first. But I don't know if a Lego one's gonna.
No,
do
they
so
probably just take them off the market for next year, don't they?
I guess
Wash 'em back.
nothing's gonna go off.
No,
That's a bad bit of Lego. It's
got white bits on it.
I put it on my nose and now I feel ill.
The chocolate. The chocolate. Where am I going?
I'm sure as a kid that I put a piece of Lego up my nose. I remember doing it. It was a blue single block. Just like a one piece.
Right.
And I remember to this day I still don't remember it ever coming out my nose.
Right.
It must have done, right? I was like 6. But then also I've got quite a big nose.
You do.
Yeah.
If I was going to put Lego anywhere, that wouldn't be a bad place to store it.
But what was you hoping to achieve as a 6-year-old putting a piece of Lego up your nose?
I was trying to find out if I was Lego.
Right.
See if it was attached. Yeah,
in there.
exactly. Because I was really into the Lego lights and sound, and I wanted sirens.
In your nose.
Well, anyway, but that just seemed like a proper place to be. I'm glad. So for all that you're supposed to be careful with children and small toys because they will put them in the nose, not the mouth. Definitely better that that's a small toy, right? That's the least thing we want to worry about. Kids should be able to, and I am joking here, parents, but kids should be able to put small toys in their mouth and up their nose because they're small. You wouldn't want to put a Duplo brick up your nose. I'd be in hospital. So there is some method to that madness, I guess. How have we been anyway? How are you, Joe?
I'm good.
You're
good.
good. You're always good.
I'm always good.
You're like Mr. Positivity. Positivity. I said it really. Positivity, Joe.
There we go.
That's what you're like.
Yeah.
You're good. Why are you good? What's happened?
Nothing in particular.
Have you got Christmas cheer?
No, I have no Christmas cheer.
Have you got Christmas decorations up?
No, my they're trying to get them put up in my house. So just
they're trying to. The council's trying. They keep trying. They keep moving those bins out of the way. I want to put a big tree or some lights there and turn them on.
No, my mother's trying to put the Christmas decorations up in my house and trying to get me to do it, but I never do it any year.
Oh, right.
I'm not a massive Christmas person. That was ruined through working in retail at Christmas.
Okay, yeah, that'll do.
It does drain your spirit when you're working.
He's like anti-clause.
The anti-clause, yeah. Fair enough. Okay, let's say the decorations will go up though, right?
Oh yeah, they will go up.
Just
I think it's in the next couple of days they're going up.
I'm not sure when decorations are supposed to go up. People are putting them up now, but are they supposed to go up
We've
now?
got them up.
Yeah, there's been decorations in my road for a couple of weeks now.
It's crazy. Yeah, you've got yours up, Sean.
But we was at the mercy of a 6-year-old girl.
Yeah, and I think that's different. If you've got a kid running around, the decorations do go up earlier.
She's like, she's on it.
Yeah, it's fair enough. So then the other thing is with Christmas decorations, do you and the tree in particular, really, does the tree go on display in the house in a way and in such an area where it's visible to people outside? Because that's kind of a thing, right? People like to have their trees in their windows, so people go,
especially if you've got kind of bay windows.
Yeah, but that's what I'll be doing here.
I think that's more of an aesthetic for inside the house, and it just happens to be visible from outside the house.
Okay.
Yeah, it's what my parents used to do. They used to put it in our bay window. I know a few other people that put it in the bay window. We just don't really have.
I mean, we're not standing there at the window dancing. Yeah, look at our
Check out our
Christmas
tree. Check out our motherfucking tree. Any etiquette for trees here? I was speaking to someone the other day. No tinsel. She was like, "No tinsel. Don't put tinsel on the tree." It's like, well, you're mental. Actually, what she said was she puts white and silver pearl beads around it, and I was like, that tells me more about you than it does your tree. Tinsel's what you need, right?
I've got cats. Cats and tinsel.
Oh man! So what's on your tree?
Baubles.
Just 2 cats and a child.
A lot of baubles. A lot of
baubles.
kind of little wicker decoration things.
Okay. Voodoo.
Kind of stockings and Santas.
Voodoo.
They just happen to be made out of little bits of wood.
All right. Okay, that's fair enough. Trees are all right. I haven't put my tree up yet. I kind of want to, but also don't want to because it means I'm going to lose a chair in the room, which sucks. And also, my tree's a nightmare. I'd like to get a real tree, but I haven't got a real tree. I've got a fake one, but it's a good fake one. Right?
Yeah, sure.
And it's in about 700 pieces. It's nuts. It's in like 4 bags, and the main tree is like 3 pieces that stuck together, and then there's maybe 50 or 60, no bullshit, 50 or 60 individual branches that attach to that base. Okay, and they're all lettered and numbered, and they're all different sizes, and it's all really, and it's just like, no, that's not fun. That's not fun. There's nothing fun about that at all. But
Where
it's like
did it
you
come
want to burn
from?
it.
IKEA?
Do you know where it came from? I found it in the attic of the last flat I rented, and I thought, I'll have that because that's a decent tree. It's huge. It's like 700 feet tall. So yeah, that will go up soon, and then it will feel like Christmas. Although, shocking discussion we had the other day. Sean told me to not put up a tree because I live by myself. So Sean told me to not put up a tree because if I just put up a tree and no other decorations, which is what I was going to do, I'm not going to decorate the place. I'm just going to, put a tree up. That it means I'll commit suicide. I was like, what? I was like, surely if I don't put up a tree, I'm more likely to commit suicide. He was like, no. If you put up a tree, you're going to commit suicide.
Yeah, I just had visions of you sitting in the house by yourself, Christmas Day, not over at your mum's, with your family.
Crazy.
Just like one paper party hat on, and a bottle of like vodka and some sleeping tablets. Watching like fucking Indiana Jones or
Santa
something on
Claus
ITV,
the movie
with all the good bits cut out.
yeah, I suppose. Well, and let's spare a thought for the many people around the country whose Christmas Day will be that.
Yeah.
But it's this is a sad time of the year, right? This is the time of year where people get all depressed and start going nuts.
Well, I mean, I think a lot of those people are affected by SAD anyway, like seasonal affective.
Affected by SAD.
Yeah, seasonal
I'm afraid.
affective disorder.
I don't know what's going on with this person, but I think he may be affected by SAD. You've got
a
some of
thing.
that
It's a
SAD
thing.
that's going around.
That's
true. Yeah, it's not good. So we're all keeping an extra eye on you, Joe, this time of year, because as we know, everybody hurts.
Yeah,
everybody.
we've spoken to Luke. He's on Bro Watch.
Bro Watch.
It's fine. So Christmas, festive time. I hate Christmas.
Yeah, I hate Christmas.
I'm not a fan.
It's literally for the kids, isn't it?
Yeah,
it largely is.
It's like I've reached the point where I'm too old to find Christmas exciting, and I don't have any kids of my own, so it's not exciting either. And it's just like, it's pointless at this point of time for me.
Do it for your niece, man. Do it for your niece.
Oh yeah, I'll buy my niece presents. I'll see her Christmas Day for an hour or so, but apart from that, that's my Christmas.
Yeah, it's just horrible. It's just stress. I don't mind Christmas. Christmas Day, I don't really care about, to be honest. It's like, it's a bit shit sometimes. Yeah. It's a bit boring, actually.
It's roast.
The roast is good.
There's epic roast. It's not just standard roast. It's epic.
But there's nothing on. There's nothing to do. You end up watching some comedy DVD that someone's got for a present in the evening or whatever.
Don't forget, every year there's Doctor Who.
I've
got to watch
that's late in the day.
But you got.
So yeah, Christmas Day's a bit weird. And the run-up's just kind of stressful. I quite like buying presents for people. That's kind of the best bit. But the run-up is very stressful. The money is horrible. It's my birthday just before, which makes me just cry. Pure tears. Angel-killing tears.
It is a bit like being robbed, right?
It's horrible. It's horrible. And I've always had that horrible situation throughout my entire life, where because my birthday's 2 days before Christmas, it's not what people... you get that shitty thing of people going, oh, you get, presents for both, combined presents and stuff. And I'm like, no, not really. That's not the problem. The more of the problem is just receiving more presents. It makes you feel really bad. If you've got like a girlfriend or a partner or a wife or whatever at the time, and they give you your birthday presents, and then 2 days later they give you your Christmas presents. Like it always ends up being a really difficult and expensive time of year for me, because I end up buying my loved ones the equivalent of birthday and Christmas presents, well, just to make up for the fact that they've bought me birthday and Christmas presents. But it is my fucking birthday.
Yeah.
So it kind of sucks, because otherwise, it's like, I've got to give you, if you give me 2 presents, right, I'll give you 2 back. That's kind of how it works. But that's not right.
I'm not giving you 2 presents.
No. So, and then there's obviously the just general trauma of getting a year older and realising that in the last year you've achieved nothing. So, yeah, Christmas fun time.
So apparently the world ends in a few weeks, so...
That's true, 21st. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. I'm recording a Christmas single with my band.
Are you?
Yes.
How's it going?
Yeah, we'll see.
Undecided.
We're gonna do. I think we're gonna be covering. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas.
It's gonna be bad.
It's gonna be bad.
Having dubstep.
No, we're gonna do. It's super cheesy though. Super cheesy. We're going to do a video for it, which was all gonna be green screened with us just sitting there in like overly Christmassy jumpers, like in front of a log fire, that's badly green screened in the background, and having like pretend snowball fights and stuff.
I think it should end with a fist fight.
It could do. It's possible. I just wanted a cartoon.
But record
bird
it. Don't just have a fist fight.
Just right. Okay. No, fair enough.
Put it in the vid.
All right. Well, we should probably talk about some games because there have been some more games coming out. We've kind of got the last batch out now, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of it. Is there anything else out in the next week or so?
I can't think of anything that really sticks out.
It doesn't stand a chance if it is, right? You know, it's kind of like, too late. You know,
Yeah.
unless it's just everything's gone and that's the only thing left, and then
Yeah, I mean, at this time of year, a lot of retailers are doing kind of big deals on most recent games, kind of stuff that's been out.
Sure.
Not even.
And there's
months,
actually
weeks.
there's a ton of good deals around. If you look, you can pick up some really decent stuff. Dishonored was on sale for a little while, wasn't it, in game recently, and yeah, things like that are cropping up all the time.
Yeah.
So it's definitely worth looking at. I mean, everyone goes nuts for Thanksgiving as well because there's all the Black Friday deals and the Cyber Monday stuff, and there's basically a week of mental deals in the US for Thanksgiving that have now started to bleed over into here. So a lot of online retailers do stuff like that, and you can pick stuff up dirt cheap, which is kind of cool. I suppose as well, console bundles is kind of the big thing at the moment, and especially with the Wii U out as well. So there is stuff, but there's not really anything new from this point. The last big release was Far Cry 3.
Yeah.
So should we just dive into it? Should we talk about Far Cry 3? We've all been playing this.
Yeah.
It's good. You guys like this, right?
Yeah.
You both like
very
this.
much. Yeah.
I'm really shocked.
I
thought it was going to suck bad.
I don't know why you thought it was going to suck.
Because I don't like any previous Far Cry game.
That's shocking.
Two did have its problems, but
yeah, but it was still good.
Oh,
you know?
yeah, it was
like
amazing
Far
still,
Cry 1
yeah.
on the PC, I love. I think
Yeah.
it's kind of awesome. It was beautiful and new and different and kind of had a cool story and all sorts. And then there was Instincts and Predator.
Which is the only one I've played previous.
Yeah, which is there was Xbox and 360, wasn't it? I think
on Xbox
it was
originally.
Predator, I think, on Xbox, and it was Far Cry Instincts on 360. But they
that's
were
right.
fundamentally the same game,
Right.
more or less. And that was all right. I quite liked that. That was Duke going feral in the jungle, right? It all got a bit superpowersy and a bit more Crisis-like.
it did. Yeah.
And then Far Cry 2, open world, malaria, completely different setting, right? African wilderness as opposed to tropical island. But interesting stuff. The open world stuff was really quite cool.
Right.
It did work very well as well with like hiding in like foliage and things like that, and setting ambushes and using fire to your own advantage. They did do it really well.
Well, but there was a lot of the problem was there was a lot of little annoying things that got in the way. Sort of
Yeah.
like repairing vehicles. The whole malaria thing was kind of a nightmare.
And
fire was just the most destructive property in the world in that game, and it to a degree kind of is in Far Cry 3 as well. But
yeah.
Far Cry 2 was it was a bit of a chore.
Yeah, it was just the fact that it had no fast travel system and was massive.
Yeah.
So you had to try and find a car because there was like very few on the map, and then spend ages driving from location to location.
Yeah, that sounds annoying.
So what's interesting with Far Cry 3 then is it's back to original setting, tropical island and sort of similar setup to the more sort of classic Far Cry games. But it is open world like Far Cry 2. But it's open world and it's not like Far Cry 2. Far Cry 2, for one, Far Cry 2 did not feel like Skyrim.
No.
I didn't know what Skyrim was back in Far Cry 2, I suppose. It didn't feel like that sort of game. But Far Cry 3 does feel like Skyrim to a large degree for me. And I'm not keen. I'm not as keen as I thought I would be.
I can understand the comparison. There is certainly when you're kind of just wandering around exploring, that you come across a lot of caves and stuff. So there is that Skyrim comparison. For me, I think it feels a lot more like Assassin's Creed.
I guess, yeah. There's a lot. I mean, we'll talk about it, but there's a lot of Assassin's Creed in this game anyway.
Yeah,
there's like the creeping and stabbing, and then the radio towers.
But I just think the world as a whole, and the sort of structure of the system, like the crafting and the skills and things, just makes me feel of Skyrim all the way through it, and the way NPCs are handled, and because it's both first person. Scavenging weapons, going off searching and stuff like that. But you're right, yeah. The Assassin's Creed influence on this game is huge.
Crazy, yeah.
And it starts to make you think that Ubisoft are just nuts, right? Like it's one big melting pot, and games just shit out of it.
Yeah, maybe.
It was like that you were saying with the radio towers. Last night I finished climbing my last radio tower, and I was like, done my last church. Nope, it's a radio tower, isn't it?
Yeah. So I mean, where do we start? I mean, let's go. Basic setup for the game is you're a bunch of, let's have main characters for a start. Then.
Just like rich.
They're like
teenagers.
rich assholes, right? They've come to this island in a thrill-seeking holiday type thing. They're skydiving and on jet skis and stuff. Yeah, and that's kind of their the explanation, I guess, for some of your initial abilities in the game is that you're an extreme dude that does crazy stuff, right? You know, you're not an ex-army dude, although one of the characters is. And so that's kind of the stuff for them. They're horrible. They're horrible people, but they're who you are. You go on this island. It starts. They get. You don't know how, do you? Or I don't know if that gets revealed in the story.
It does get revealed later on how they come to become on the island itself.
But at the beginning, you don't know what happens. You see a montage of them having crazy holiday fun, and then all of a sudden it's being played back on a phone, and they've been captured by Vass, the insane dude that we
Mr. Personality.
saw. Yeah, Personality of the Year 2012. That we saw in all the trailers before, and the guy they've really been pushing in all the marketing.
Yeah.
And they're just kind of fucked. And at that point, it's like, shit, gotta survive now, right? You're like, how are you going to get home? How are you going to go off this island? How are you going to rescue all your friends? What are you going to do? It's a nightmare. And I thought the beginning, in fact, is very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, the intro to it is.
And was one of the... It creates one of the scariest atmospheres I've ever seen in a game. That whole sort of like, you're just fucked. They're just in that cage at the beginning, tied up. His brother's there, and they're just like, and you already know that someone's dead, and it's just like, there is no way out of this. You're just on holiday, right? And there's madmen around.
Yeah.
It was scarier than anything I've seen in Dead Space or Resident Evil or anything like that. It had a real sort of foreboding nastiness to it. And Vass, because he's so likeable in the way his character is, and so fucking threatening and menacing in the things he says and does. And on top of that, the fact that he is acted and represented in the game just flawlessly.
Yeah, in that first sequence, it shows it so perfectly, where he's
incredible.
He's telling you how fucked you are, and he's really calm at the beginning, and then instantly just switches and just becomes fucking batshit insane.
He's got that sort of... The two things that make him the craziest person in the world are the instant anger switches, right?
Yeah.
That's always a good thing to look out for. And just the excessive sort of playful, happy-go-lucky vibe that he has to everything he does, right? It's not good. But the voice acting in the game is incredible.
Yeah,
amazing.
More so than the animation's pretty good, and the I don't know if they've like done performance capture stuff on the faces. It doesn't quite look like they have. It looks like it maybe has been hand animated, but I don't know. That's still good as well, but the voice acting just perfect. It seems like, and we were talking about it the other day, Sean, but it seems like, especially with Dennis, the sort of guide, I guess you first meet on the island, it seems like they've just gone with takes that other studios or other people in that sort of line of work wouldn't have gone with. Like in normal games, this stuff is spoken in a way that's so clear and so concise, and to convey instructions to the player as to what to do. That kind of takes away all character from it. And these aren't. You kind of almost struggle to listen a little bit because it sounds just like real people talking.
Yeah, it's one of the games where I'm glad I've actually put my subtitles on before playing.
Yeah, it's crazy. So anyway, basically in the game, you escape from your initial situation, and then you're unleashed on the island, right? And you can go around and do your own things and exact revenge and look for your friends that have basically been carted off into different areas of the island for different reasons, and you go and search for them. But yeah, in the process of doing that, you climb these towers, as you were mentioning, Joe. These
the
radio towers, which then give you visibility of your map, right?
Yeah, which I thought was weird, because at the beginning, you kind of pick up several items when you're escaping, which is like a digital SLR, an iPad, a cell phone, and a paper map. And I was like, so what, is the map on the iPad? But I think it's supposed to be a paper map.
Yeah, it's weird, because the whole point of the radio towers is they've got jammers in them, so it like cuts off what you can see. But
I didn't really understand that, right? Yeah. So why, if there's radio towers all over the island that are just going to map out the island, right, and they've got jammers on them to stop them, and so what you're doing is turning the jammers off. It's not like you're turning the radio towers on. You're turning the jammers off. Yeah. Why are the towers even there in the first place? Why did someone go to the trouble of climbing up all of these towers and installing a jammer instead of just planting a little bit of C4 at the bottom of the tower? The towers aren't being used for anything anymore.
I think they're still being used by the bad guys who get round the jammers some way. I'm not sure how, but it's just weird.
They've got anti-jammers.
It's just weird.
Yeah.
But...
So those work in the same way that Assassin's Creed's done throughout the entire series, really. All the peaks that you climb to and it even spins round.
Yeah, it does the animation and shows you locations as well.
Yeah, it shows you key things. And that's quite good. It'll be like, here's a broken boat, here's a car, here's something, and you're like, well, maybe I'll go and look at those at some point. And I quite like those towers because they're little environment puzzles in themselves, aren't they? They're kind of Mirror's Edge climbing.
And they get progressively harder, I found.
Yeah,
as well.
Yeah, one of the ones I'd done last night was actually sort of broken in a way. It wanted you to climb over this little bit and get on a thing. About 10 attempts to do that. It'd either throw me completely off the tower or my guy just slip off the front.
Nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, so you're getting those. They give you access to the map, and then from there, it's standard open world stuff, right? There's different missions about. You've got the story missions and challenges. The challenges are really cool.
Yeah,
this game is nuts in connecting to the internet
and kind of allowing you to see exactly what everybody else is doing.
Yeah, it's gone for that. So like over the top, I would say. It's like it's connected all the time, and it's constantly taking your friends' scores and various other things. You've got a Facebook wall essentially on the title screen that you can access that tells you what your friends are doing. All of that was kind of mental. But then there's these challenges throughout the world as well that are on a big red rock, and it shows you the gamer tag of the person in the number one spot on the rock in the game, which is kind of cool.
That's pretty cool, yeah.
That's really, really awesome.
I haven't been to one of those trials yet, and
they're pretty good. Yeah. You should have a go. There's a lot of content in there. My main issue with the game is there's too much stuff in there anyway.
There is a lot to do, and a lot to find. There's like 120 relics hidden in there somewhere.
Yeah. Well, and so the basically getting around the island and doing your thing, the stuff you're doing, you're not just running into situations and gunning people down. I mean, you are doing that, but and this is where I think the Skyrim sort of comparisons come in for me, is that you're crafting stuff, you're crafting potions. You are crafting
in a way, yeah.
You are. You're not. It's more than Resident Evil green herb, red herb stuff.
But less complicated than Skyrim's different types of ingredients. It's different colours of leaf.
But you're also making bags and stuff and holsters. Like, that's the bit I didn't get. Like, as much as I'm like, so you're suspending belief for a lot of stuff in this, right? The radio towers affecting the map is one of those things, right? The tattoo that magically grows on your arm, you're also suspending belief in that, okay? But the guy that you are, who's slowly going through this genesis of fucked teenager or 20 something or whatever into killing machine, right, I've got to suspend a little bit of belief in order to do that. But the fact that this dude, like, I can understand that in a desperate situation, maybe you corner someone, they'll throw a knife into someone's head, fine, okay, fair enough. I just don't believe he ever had the ability to skin an animal, first of all, okay, but I'll even accept that, and then from that skinned animal make a bag out of like dog hide. That's crazy, right?
Yeah, but at the same time, it is better than your solution to it, which was
give me that.
I've got to level 8. I've just unlocked a new gun.
No. Well, that's what a game would do. Because I have an issue with the crafting system. I don't think the crafting system needs to be in there at all. So I would just have it so like, I can already carry 4 guns. So just let the game prevent me from having 4 guns if that's the point, if it needs to do it. But don't make me have to craft a bag, which I presume would take weeks and maybe some machinery or something, and I just thought that was a bit strange.
If they wanted to go that way, the more sensible idea would have been buying additions to your equipment. So a better gun belt or something.
But none of that I really needed for that Rumble in the Jungle story that it kind of is.
I think it's an answer to a question that was never asked. It's like, why am I killing animals? Well, you're killing animals because there's animals there, and they'll attack you, right?
Yeah, they're a threat, and all of that can stay without the crafting. All that can still stay, right?
But it kind of goes, well, since you're killing animals, why don't you do something with them?
Yeah, but that's the issue I have, because why would this dude do anything with them?
I don't know.
It's strange.
It's sort of all part of him becoming like the warrior of the island.
But to me, that seems like something that's too controlled or too governed by the fact that they wanted to put this gameplay in, these features in of like, we'll have a crafting system, we'll do on this, because it's really gone for that RPG model, right? And that fantasy model almost.
Yeah.
And so it feels like they just kind of wanted that in there more than it actually, adding to the story anyway. I just thought it was a bit weird. You make a lot of stuff. It's not like you make one thing. You can make several different bags. He's like a bag maker.
Yeah.
He could sell them on the island if he wanted to. He makes that many of them. And you imagine they're pretty good. He has different qualities, different things. He's like, you need something to hold a fuel canister? I'll knock one up for you in a minute. I just need to go off and kill a couple of pigs.
And as you get later on, you have to kill like legendary animals that they have on the island
to get
as well.
Great stuff.
Yeah.
What is with the animals on that island? What is this island that has dogs and birds and you know, pigs
Bears,
and boars and
sharks.
coyotes and tigers and kimono dragons and everything, just all wandering around the same place,
Yeah, it's weird.
just casually.
But
Well, they all have their own little sections that are allowed to stick to.
But
it's
at the
mental.
same
Weird.
time, the immersive kind of gameplay that comes from it is fantastic.
Yeah, it's
I've
great.
seen guards like freaking out because Komodo dragons have just come out of the woods and
And
stuff.
it's like they're those sections where you have to take over a place, and there's cages, and you shoot the door, and the animal comes out and helps
Yeah.
you.
My new favourite thing, Bender Friendly Bear, totally cleared out an entire thing for me today. It is wicked.
Yeah, it's good. It is. I mean, I do like the animals in it. I must admit, they are pretty cool. Again, the hunting stuff. It was the bit I didn't like in Red Dead.
Yeah.
You know, it's in Assassin's Creed 3
Yeah.
as well, obviously. Not too keen on that. I like just shooting the animals. That's kind of cool. You know, it gives me a Cabela vibe, a
Yeah.
Cabela boner. But yeah, the stuff's nuts. I mean, first time I saw a bear, it was fucking terrifying. 'Cause it was just
Yeah.
loose in the woods, and it's like, oh, that's a bear, isn't it? And then you kind of like rears up, looks, and you're like, yeah, like you can see him thinking, that's a dude. There's a dude. There's a dude in the woods. And he's checking his pockets for any ammo or anything like that. And I had no ammo the first time I saw a bear, and the only thing I had was C4, and I C4'd a bear.
But yeah, his hide was in perfect tact. for you
Perfect,
to make
absolutely perfect for me to make one incision and then take a small red blob out of him.
which was
ones-
his hide, apparently.
Yeah.
The only animal on that island that ever concerns me is sharks,
Yeah.
because they come at you at the most unexpected time. You'll be swimming to a location, there's not supposed to be any sharks, then out of nowhere a shark's got your arm. It always makes me panic as soon as it appears.
I've not seen any sharks yet, I
Had
must
a
admit.
nasty incident this morning with a shark where I was hunting a bull shark. So I was standing on the shore and like picking it off with arrows from the shore. And it's always the bit where you've got to go into the water to skin the fucker. And it's like, there's one shark, there's gonna be others.
Yeah.
And I skinned him, looked to my right, and there's a great big great white coming at me. I had to peg it for the shore.
Yeah, I was hunting a legendary shark, and I was standing on a boat. There's like 6 sharks circling me. I was like, wonder which one it is. I'm just standing there with a bow and arrow, just shooting sharks.
Crazy. I've not got a bow and arrow yet. So I mean, how much have we played? I've probably only put in about 10 hours into the game, I think. I don't feel like I'm going to finish it anytime soon, but I don't know. I'm only doing the story missions, not interested in the side stuff.
I've done a fair amount of side stuff. I've unlocked all the radio towers on the North Island certainly now. I've made most of my kind of bags and rucksacks and stuff. It's like the top grade stuff and a few bits that I haven't gone for yet. I've been holding off going to the second island basically.
Yeah, I've reached the second island. I've done all of my bags, all of the radio towers, all of the hunting missions. I've been doing a lot of side stuff.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. The side stuff I didn't think that was that great. I haven't looked into much of it. Maybe you guys can let me know. But it looked like from what I'd seen that there was only kind of 2 types of side mission. One was basic hunting, and the other one was kind of like an assassin sort of thing.
Yeah, there's a few different types. Yeah, like you said, there's the there's the path of the hunter missions where you got to go and hunt a specific thing, or like kill 10 dogs with an RPG.
Yeah.
You have your wanted dead quests where you've got to kill a certain character with a certain weapon, and there's also like supply run missions where if you take an outpost, it will place a vehicle that glows, and if you get on there, it gives you a time limit, and you have to follow flare checkpoints.
Okay.
And-
I mean, that actually has reminded me of something. There are races, man. There's
Yeah.
straight up races in this game, which is kind of disappointing because
I
it's sort of
haven't-
like, why would you?
I haven't done any racing at all.
Well, they're never fun in these games, really. Anyway, I mean, Far Cry's a little bit different because the vehicles are awesome, and
They
we'll
are
talk about that in a little
fantastic.
bit. But you know, the race mission type is just kind of one of those staple open world
Yeah,
types
sure.
that just gets in everything that doesn't need to be there,
No.
doesn't make any sense. Why would this dude all of a sudden go, you know, take 5 minutes out, I'm just gonna have a quick race?
Yeah, it was like I was sat down and started playing poker because I'm just trying to get the achievement for winning so much money in poker. And I'm just sat there and it's like, I shouldn't really be sat here playing
No,
poker. I
exactly.
should be off murdering someone.
It's
really.
weird, and and there's quite a lot of stuff like that in this game that I feel like just shouldn't be there to make a better. Like the story's so good. I
Yeah.
really liked the story setup. It's it's practically the beach or that sort of thing, and I like the way the narrative's given and the characters are really good. And then there's little bits making stupid handbags out of dogs, and racing cars or anything that just kind of like your brother's just been killed, man. You're like, the odds are you're never leaving this island. What's going on? It doesn't. I didn't.
But
I don't know.
I think these things are fundamental to building the Ultimate Warrior. Samurai used to do flower arranging and write haikus.
I guess
it's the spiritual side of your.
I just think
of your killing.
The game would be
killingness.
the game would be no worse without them. You know.
Sure.
Yeah.
Let's talk about vehicles then, because the vehicles obviously are a big part of Far Cry and always have been, you know, from the beginning. They're handled a little bit differently to how I guess vehicles are in a lot of these games. It's first person for start, right? They are wicked fun. Because
some of them
they still handle like Far Cry vehicles, right? They feel like they're like extreme rear wheel drive with like super tight turning circles.
Pivot on the spot.
And it's all over, like one jerk to the left and you're off the map, you know. They're awesome. They're freaking awesome. I wish I had a bit more free movement when I was in the vehicles. You can look up, but if you press down on the stick, he looks behind him, which is kind of awesome because you kind of look out the back of the car. But there's no looking down into the bottom of the vehicle because of that. But they're just so good. The radios are awesome. I love the radios. The radios that play only two types of music. They play music that's awesome for chase scenes and music that's just awesome for just tooling round. You know, just so like I love just cruising round the island, listening to side ding 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 while your car's making that awesome sort of like because it sounds like the car sounds like a toolkit. Falling downstairs.
Sure.
You know, they're all just crap,
Fucked,
right?
yeah.
Because the cars are free. That's the other thing about this island. Like, it's just like free car, just on the side. It's like it's like London's new bike scheme, right? That Boris has brought in. If there's just a car there, if you see it, grab it. Grab it.
Yeah.
If you don't need it anymore, leave it. Someone else will take it later.
Yeah, I rarely leave cars. They
It's weird.
They usually end up on fire.
An explosion.
I just love it, like when you come around the corner and start going up a hill and you just hear the wheels spinning. It's like, it is awesome.
They're really good fun. They're really good fun because when you use them in a panic, like to get away from stuff, you generally are panicking because it's hard. It's hard to drive them. And when sometimes you'll go down a road and you're bombing it, 'cause you're just flooring it all the way through, right through the jungle, and you're bouncing and there's leaves going past you. Then all of a sudden there'll be like a massive U-turn or a really tight, windy road, and just to get around it's hard.
Yeah, and a cliff face of a 70-foot
Exactly.
drop.
I was being chased by a couple of cars last night, and I was like bombing it down this like road that was on a cliff, and this car goes to try and overtake me, so I'm flying off the cliff next to me.
Excellent.
And they also will add best handbrake noise in a game ever. It's just like it's a real that's a handbrake.
It's quad bikes, dune buggies, and jet skis.
Jet skis are awesome.
Jet skis are awesome.
Jet skis over waterfalls. That's what it's all about.
Okay.
I love using the gliders though.
The gliders are pretty good. I kind of wish I could
useful.
fly more, you know, because you're still gliding, right? You're always going towards the ground, and then 90% of the time they end in death.
Yeah, and it's like it's hard to find a glider. It's like you'll get to a point like I could really use a glider. You don't have one.
Yeah.
I tend to land gliders quite regularly now.
I land them. I just don't land them on the ground. I land them in trees and buildings.
I always just hit the ground, but just before I hit the ground, I jump out of it.
Yeah, I have to say it's like 12% ends in death with me.
Right.
But it's awesome once you get to the second island because you unlock your wingsuit, which has a parachute attached to it.
Yeah, that sounds quite cool.
Yes.
There's a lot of this game that's very Just Cause 2.
Yeah.
You know, it feels a lot like that. The way a lot of the enemies work in the game, the way it looks, obviously, but even things, you know, with the vehicles and abilities you get, it's got that sort of vibe to it, and it also has it's missing bits in the same way Just Cause 2 was,
Sure.
right? You know, it's like this isn't the game. This is very close, but it's not the game. And there's some stuff I'd love to see in third person, just because it's awesome.
Yeah,
you know, I'd love to see it again.
There are moments where I wish I could go into third person and just have a look what's going on, but you're just sort of stuck there.
Because you turn into a badass, you get crazy stuff. There's like takedowns and stuff are mental, right?
I mean, the assassination stuff is pretty damn sweet, and when it works, and it works kind of 75% of the time, you are just fucking dope. You sneak up behind a guy, take him out, right trigger, and you just pull his knife out of his sheath and throw it at the next guy. But also like the multi takedowns from above, so now I could just literally just sprint, jump off a cliff, stab one guy, and if he's got a guy next to him, just pulls the knife out and stabs him as well. It's just, I've kind of my skill tree's there now.
The guards are pretty good as well. It's pretty tough. Like you'll get ambushed. You can't just go running into a village and just go guns a-blazing.
Yeah,
they'll
you
flank you.
you
They'll
do
fuck
sort
you
of.
up quick time.
I just always find when I'm heading to a new outpost, I climb up to the highest cliff and just sort of pull out my camera, mark everyone, and maybe pull out my sniper rifle and then just like pick them all off as I'm going.
It's the bow and arrow, man. It's all about the bow and arrow.
See, I haven't got the bow and arrow yet.
Amazing.
The bow and arrow is amazing, but if you get a sniper rifle and you're half decent with it, you can take out all the alarms and then you're just like picking them off one by one and no one has a clue where you are.
It's weird. I'm not playing this game the same way you guys are at all. In fact, when you came over to my place and had a look at my game, it was kind of nuts because I was at the same point. I was pretty much at the same point of the game, which was pretty far in. And I'd not crafted a thing. No. I could only carry one weapon, of which I didn't have a weapon. I just picked one up off the ground whenever I found it. I had nothing, and I was like proper Rambo in the jungle, And then Sean comes along, he's like, "You can buy all this stuff. You can make all this stuff." And it's like, "Now I've got 3 guns, some grenades, some various other." And it's like, well, now I'm not the same person at all.
Yeah, I do love the way it does its guns, where you can like buy different weapons and customize them as you go, give them paint jobs and things like that. Especially when
you love all that shit though.
I do, yeah.
Yeah, the paint jobs I'm like completely indifferent about.
Some of them look amazing.
Again, why is this dude taking the time to paint his gun? You know,
the mods are fucking sweet because you get suppressors, you get like extended clips and stuff.
It does change it dramatically. I mean, I wasn't getting on with the gunplay at all, and then after you unlocked all the stuff in my game, the gunplay changed completely.
Sure.
I mean, I do have a few issues with the game. I think, and the reason why I didn't go into all the crafting, and maybe the reason I don't like it so much, and I think the skill trees are a bit confusing as well. I think the menus are just terrible. I think actually a lot of the feedback to the users really, really bad. In like, I either don't know what that is, because at the beginning it's just shoving so much on the screen of like, look at this, hey, look at this, hey, look at this. I've got a terrible tiny bitrate video for you to watch, of how to do a takedown. So I just ignored all that, and I think the UI is really confusing. I don't think it's very well implemented at all in letting me know what's going on. And I think that extends beyond just the menu system, which is why I didn't do any of that, and into the actual game as well, in that there's not great feedback for when you're killing a guy. There is in like multiplayer and in co-op, and you get that Call of Duty like ding when you hit someone in a headshot. But you don't get that throughout the main game in Far Cry. And if you're getting attacked by multiple directions, it's really difficult to find out. Some of that really sort of was lacking for me, and I just thought this isn't communicating what it needs to me as quickly as it should be.
I think a lot of the time is with first-person shooters, you're used to kind of having markers for enemies or an outline for enemies, and if you don't go to a vantage point, mark people with your camera, then you are at a massive disadvantage.
That's true. It definitely wants you to take that extra time to set up your attacks.
Yeah.
And you mark people that get a little icon above their heads, and then you can always track where they are. I don't do that.
Yeah.
That makes it so difficult because you just have no clue which direction anyone's coming from because no one's displayed on your minimap.
People aren't always. Yeah, they are, but they aren't. So, if you're in very close vicinity to people, then they sometimes come up on your minimap. Once you've seen them, they'll come up on your minimap. Before that, you'll just hear them, and they won't appear on your minimap. They won't appear in your visual line sight.
It's interesting. I found some of that a little bit confusing. It's interesting you talking about fast travel earlier, Joe, because I don't fast travel in the game at all.
Don't you?
No, not at all. Very rarely. I think I fast travel maybe twice. I just like driving. It takes me fucking ages to get anywhere. And sometimes you're like, I don't know where that is. I don't know where that. We've had some issues with the UI and where the markers is. Where there was one mission that I was trying to do while Sean was here, and when I went and did the mission, every time the marker led me into a river, swam into a cave, underneath a mountain. Don't know where I am. Then I'd die, Sean would have a go because we were passing the controller, and the marker would take him, same marker, but we don't know why, we're just doing it, going in different ways, would take him over the top of a mountain into the actual mission. Yeah. Then he'd die, give it back to me, I'd do it, the marker takes me back under the mountain into the thing. And it was just like the different routes we were going made the marker look like it was in a different place when it wasn't. But it was leading us completely different ways.
It's like when you was going into the cave, which clearly wasn't where you were supposed to be.
There was clearly shit there. Start. The mission would also trigger.
It would be like when you enter that certain area, the mission starts. It doesn't matter whereabouts you are, it'll just start.
Yeah, so we were like 100 metres apart, like vertically, but above and below sea level. And there was stuff in that cave. That cave was it. I was to the game's credit, there was shit in that cave. There is stuff everywhere in there. The world is not empty. a weird world because it's missing a lot of stuff. And we were talking earlier about the fact that I think it's weird that there's kind of no people on the island.
There's literally 2 warring factions, and that is it.
Yeah, it's not.
There is a lot more people on the second island. So
Right.
It seems to be more of there's more towns populating it. There's more. They're mainly sort of soldiers and privateers and things like this. There seems to be a lot more sort of civilians in these towns and things like this in the second island. The first one just seems to be where everyone's being attacked.
Sort
and
of bad stuff happens.
Yeah.
You know, bad fucking stuff happens. I mean, the beginning's awesome in that bit when you first escape from Vass and your captors. And you're going through their little like underground base, their little cave system base, and there's just piles and piles of luggage, as though they have just kidnapped so many holiday makers. It's unreal, right? And just sold them off into slavery and stuff. It's that whole scene just.
I think the level of immersion in this game, I think is top notch.
Yeah.
For all its kind of faults, I urge anyone who's not interested, who doesn't think they're interested, to give it a shot. It's
Definitely.
wicked.
And even if you're not, if you're not, you can play this game. If you're not a first-person shooter guy, you can play this game like Skyrim. You know, and if you're not a Skyrim guy, you can kind of play it first-person. I mean, I've been playing it more first-person shooter than I have RPG like. And yeah, the immersion's crazy. I mean, Far Cry was always like that though. It was always one of the first games to really enforce the first-person perspective outside of the areas where you would normally get it. So normally you get it for shooting. Far Cry 2 made a big emphasis on you opening the doors and you fixing the cars. You'd always see his hands doing it. This does a really good job of any of the climbing stuff. Sometimes you'll see his leg come up and all of that's kind of cool. One thing that did bug me, and I'm going to bring it up now because it's only a minor thing, but Dennis, right, the lovely, spirit guide who starts tattooing you in a festival. The tattoo. I'm not like, I feel like at the beginning when he's like the tattoo will fix you or whatever, and you're like thinking it's tattoo. We've given me a tattoo, and you feel like throughout the game Jason Brody's just maybe thinking, because he keeps mentioning the tattoo, and you're just thinking, has too much time passed? Did he want to correct him the first time he said it when he was a bit delirious and going for the knife and go, I think you mean tattoo, but now he can't, and so it's awkward, and so he keeps saying tattoo, and it's like, oh, and it must drive him nuts because like it's a tattoo.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a minor gripe of mine. Should we take a quick break?
Yeah.
Let's take a quick break. We're going to listen to some music from Far Cry 3 now. It's actually the opening track from the montage of these arsehole kids that you just basically want to get butchered on the island. It's the soundtrack to their life, I guess. It's Paper Planes by MIA.
It is a strange game in that it makes you love the villains and hate the
heroes. Yeah.
I hate the look of the main characters. Like if you go into the notepad and it describes your character. No, your character just looks like he belongs in Jersey Shore. He's got like spiked up.
He looks like Jason Brody looks like JD from Scrubs. I thought.
Yeah, in a way, but his hair is just a little shorter. Yeah.
Anyway, here's some music. We'll be back after the break. We'll actually chat a bit after the break about co-op and some of the other aspects of the game before we go on. So yeah, here's MIA with Paper Planes.
Fly like paper, get high like planes. If you catch me at the border, I got visas in my name. If you come around here, I'll make them all day. I get one down in a second if you wait. I fly like paper, get high like planes. If you catch me at the border, I got visas in my name. If you come around here, I'll make them all day. I get one down in a second if you wait. Sometimes I think sitting on trains. Every step I get to, I'm clocking that game. Everyone's a winner, we're making our fame. Bonafide hustler, making my name. Sometimes I think sitting on trains. Every step I get to, I'm clocking that game. Everyone's a winner, we're making our fame. Bonafide hustler, making my name. All I wanna do is say your money. 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 Pirates, skulls and bones, sticks and stones and weed and bombs. Running when we hit lethal poison for the system.
Okay, we're back. That was MIA with Paper Planes. I hate the song. You hate the song. Everyone hates the song.
Yeah,
right?
it's not a great song. Yeah.
But it fits.
Yeah,
Yeah, it does.
And if it's personalities of the people it's portraying as well.
Yeah, it's kind of that opening montage is perfect. You know,
you can imagine they fucking loved it. All had it on their iDevices.
Yeah,
pumped it in their little convertibles.
They're just a bunch of dicks.
they just don't give a shit about anything.
Yeah,
That's the thing. They just don't care.
Everything that happens on that island, they sort of deserve.
Yeah, that's true.
So Keith, especially with Buck.
Buck
is amazing.
So I want to talk about the music actually for Far Cry, because the music's phenomenal in this game. It's Ubisoft being Ubisoft in that way that they so often are. There's a lot of dubstep, right?
Yeah.
There's an awful lot of dubstep in this game. We are past the dubstep craze now.
Yeah, it's Far Cry. I think Far Cry can sort of get away with the dubstep.
It's still good, but it's used a lot, right?
Yeah.
It's got an awesome soundtrack. It sounds like almost like a Harry Gregson Williams sort of Metal Gear soundtrack sort of style. The emotional pieces that come in the background when shit's happening are really effective and awesome. But then it all ultimately ends up in dubstep.
yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter what the scene is, ultimately dubstep's coming in at some point, right?
Fighting a bear, need some dubstep.
Yeah. And so that, I think, is a bit questionable. They could have removed all the dubstep and it'd be fine.
There is that one awesome moment where it has dubstep, where you're burning the field of weed, and then it just sort of kicks in while your guy's getting high off the weed. And it's just awesome in that section itself.
And at that point, he's shouting about how much he loves the fucking flamethrower as well.
Yeah, that is true.
It's pretty awesome.
So I thought it was pretty effective. To show that, I've got a little bit here that I'm going to play. I'm going to do a little test. Right, this is some of the ambient soundtrack from Far Cry. Joe, hang in there, Joe. I'm going to get you out of here, Joe. I don't care. I know your leg's broken. Doesn't matter. Hold on to me, Joe.
I'm holding on, Mike.
Hold on to us both. We've got to go and find Sean. He's somewhere on the island. I think he's in a bag. Next to that puppy. It's crazy, Joe.
What are we going to do, Mike?
Stop crying, Joe. Stop crying.
I just can't help it.
Shit. I think there's bad guys out there.
I see it.
One of them's got a gun, Joe. They've all got guns, Joe. And Tic Tacs. Just stick with me. It's like something out of Bad Boys. It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
But it's good. It's effective.
Yeah, it is.
And then ultimately it ends in dubstep. I'll spin on a little bit, but, you know, we're getting emotional. That's where it goes. It goes further. Yeah, it's a good soundtrack.
Ends in Tron.
It's a good soundtrack. I like it. I like
Yeah.
it. I like it. So yeah, it's a polished game. It is a polished game. Obviously, we're not saying too much about a lot of stuff because there's a lot of spoilers in the game.
Yeah.
Anyway, weird. I was half expecting this to go with the whole insanity vibe that they've been going on. I was half expecting them to slowly pull out a Fight Club. You are Vass.
Yeah.
Type situation,
Certainly.
right?
Yeah.
None of us have completely yes. We don't know exactly what the ending is.
No.
The other popular belief out there was that perhaps an Animus was going to turn up in the
Yeah,
system
yeah.
somehow, right? And it goes all a bit sort of.
We're
the game.
training super soldiers for the Templars.
Yeah, all of that, as far as I'm concerned, in my game, still possible.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, to be honest, in mine, still probably possible.
It's just kind of weird. So. Yeah, it's an interesting story. We urge you to go out and play it.
I mean, I found that it's kind of teetered away from the sci-fi. The
Right.
aspects that I thought there might be more sci-fi, and Ubisoft kind of like to mix up their genres, don't they? Anyway, so they kind of here's a jungle game and loads of mysticism.
There was a genuine time where because the opening opens with a quote, the Lewis Carroll quote, right?
And you get more of that.
Yeah,
as
it
well.
happens a lot.
But that same Lewis Carroll quote opens Assassin's Creed 3.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
so there was a time for a little while where I was thinking, are these going to cross over in
They
some
could
way?
be pulled in together, certainly.
Which would have been mental, and I kind of would have loved that, but also kind of appreciate that that's not what they're going to do, and that's fine. All the things that I thought were going to happen haven't happened, which is good because I feel like there are cliche, obvious things that the video games industry often falls into. So if they've avoided it, then fine, and I'm keen to see where it goes. But this is not just a straight up kidnapping escape game. There's weird shit going on. We've already talked about some of the mystical shit, but there's other stuff. So definitely worth looking into. One of the things I wanted to talk about then, because I think we're done on single player, right?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Is it's also got a campaign co-op. Do you remember at E3 that dude came out on stage and he was like, "We made a whole other game," and it's like, he didn't really. He just put a mode in.
You just done what other companies do. Just decided to make a massive deal out of it.
Yeah, but then looking at it, me and you, Sean, we played it for quite some time. They made a whole other game. That's pretty much what they did. It's not the same game as the first one. It is a separate story for the campaign co-op, which is 1 to 4 players. And the other game that they made is Left 4 Dead. And that's basically what they made, and it's exactly Left 4 Dead. It's structured into the same sort of story missions as though Left 4 Dead takes that sort of movie vibe almost, with a poster and then like 4 chapters to each one. This does that same sort of vibe. 4 characters again, 4 other characters that are a lot like the Left 4 Dead characters anyway, right? There's like a Hispanic dude in a vest, like an old dude, a black chick, and some white kid, I think. So there's that. When you're playing it, it's got all the same things from Left 4 Dead. You know, you carry the same. The things you're carrying are the same with your med packs and stuff, and your medicine and shit. The weapons are similar. You can revive people that are downed in the same way. There's lots of talking. You know, there's ammo over here. There's ammo over here. I'm reloading.
Cover me.
Syringes. Get your syringes. It's constant. You know, and that's very Left 4 Dead. And then you're just doing, basic firefights along with some other weird objectives. A bit Spartan Ops like as well, in a way.
Kind of elements of Spartan Ops.
There's the bridge blowing up stuff where one of you's got to carry some explosives over to an area where the other one covers you. It was quite good. What I really liked about it was the firefights were awesome.
We did get some wicked firefights. And again, with the assassination stuff as well, it's pretty cool if you kind of see somebody else running and sliding along the ground. It looks fucking sweet when you watch somebody else do it. And B, someone doing assassinations on enemy characters looks fucking cool as well.
It's really cool. But the firefights, I thought they, because of the setting and the sort of realism of it all, with real weapons and in like a normal setting, not space or anything like that. When there's just 2 of you like back to back, where you can just see someone, you're just picking people off one by one, and they're going down pretty easy. Like people, it's just awesome. That's really cool.
I'd love to try 4 players because it was
hard.
It's second level, but like stage 4 of second level or something, we just come to a wall and we just could not pass.
I want to play some more of it. I don't know quite what the story is with that. I think it's just a separate story of just 4 other holiday makers that have just somehow ended up on the island, right? But it certainly was a little bit different anyway, and not just the tacked on co-op that I was expecting.
Sure.
So it's a total rip-off of Left 4 Dead, and I can't stress that enough. It really is, even down to the icons you get for each player when they show up on the left-hand side of the screen. But that's no bad thing. Left 4 Dead was great. And this totally works. It's Left 4 Dead without zombies.
What I hope is on later stages, and I'm not convinced it will be, is more vehicle-based stuff. Because we did do one short mission.
That's true. There was one mission that we did early on where we had to, again, we were transporting bombs to blow up a wall, and you had to go out and collect bombs from this little small sort of mini-map and then bring them back to one location. And we did it on ATVs.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like we were competing against each other, right?
It does come up with a victor at the end.
So you're just kind of bombing around, picking up bombs, putting them back in the thing. But it my problem with that was it felt like a minigame.
Yeah.
As soon as you start putting those sort of rule sets around, a little bit of gameplay,
it kind of broke out.
Yeah, I wasn't collecting bombs and trying to blow up anything in terms of story. I was literally playing like a Mario Party minigame, and that broke it for me, which is kind of weird. Because the vehicles are cool.
Yeah, I mean, what I'd prefer to see is there's vehicles in the game which I feel are slightly wasted because you've got the gun port and you've got a driver's seat, but it's a one-player game, and so you have to switch manually yourself from the driver's seat to the gun port, and that kind of defeats the point, right? The best bits of fucking Halo on Big Team Battle is when you've got like 2 guys in the front of a walk and someone on a gun.
Well, and let's not forget, there is no shooting from vehicles at all in this game. So, there's like things in, like Just Cause, for example, or GTA, things like that, you can drive by.
Yeah.
There's no drive by option in this at all, even when if you're on a motorbike or anything like that.
Which I really want to do is just lob grenades behind me as I'm bombing off.
Yeah. So, and I think that's probably a very clear decision that they made, that's never been the case, because the switching seats has always been a Far Cry thing, and the switching into like gun turrets and stuff. So, I'd imagine that's probably a decision that they wanted to maintain, but... Yeah, it's a bit of a bummer. You're right.
But to kind of have that element in a co-op game where
it'd be
a
cool.
couple of guys driving, one's in the back.
Really cool.
That would be sweet, but I don't know if it's there.
Well, they're not. The maps in the co-op aren't massive, are they? You're not in an open world. You're in a quite structured, and that again, like Left 4 Dead, that sort of style for it. I played a little bit of the multiplayer as well. I don't know if any of you guys have looked at that.
I've not yet. No.
I played a little bit. It was all right. I only played one game. It felt like Far Cry again. I was mainly just checking it to see if the vehicles were in multiplayer because they were always the thing that made me love Far Cry. Was vehicles in multiplayer, and there weren't any in the map that I was on. But that's not to say there aren't any in the multiplayer at all. But it was all right. I just found that the same problem I had with the feedback being given back to the player of like who am I shooting, who's shooting me, didn't really come across.
Sure.
And so I didn't have a lot of fun. But I didn't put enough time in to really see. And then of course there's the level editor, which is in there, which has always been a Far Cry staple and always very good.
Yeah.
I haven't looked at it at all in Far Cry 3.
I haven't.
It's always been one of those weird things, right? Because like it was great. They always make a fairly big deal out of it, or they certainly did back in the day.
Yeah.
And this is console based. I don't know if there was a level editor. I don't think there was a level editor. It might not have even been multiplayer in the original Far Cry.
Right.
But in Instincts and Predator, that's where it sort of came across. Yeah, they're always really, really good. The tools are brilliant. People can make great stuff, and then I feel like nothing's ever done with it, or I never know about anything that's done with it. Like we see cool Forge maps and cool stuff for Halo 4. I don't see any of the stuff from Far Cry. I don't know if that's just that the community system at its base level isn't good enough,
maybe,
or there's not a great enough way of sharing maps and
viewing,
rating them and stuff like that.
Sure.
I don't know what that system is in place for this game now, so I haven't looked at it at all. But it would be interesting to look at.
Yeah.
It depends how seriously you take the multiplayer, right? And
yeah.
I feel like Far Cry, even now, doesn't have the legs to break into that Call of Duty and Halo crowd.
Yeah.
And be like a third peg or whatever. It's not going to do that.
I don't know. I think the main problem is where would it sit?
Well, it doesn't do enough different.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
It's not really going to pull people away from Call of Duty.
No, not at all. But that's its closest comparison,
Sure.
right? I thought from you playing this and enjoying this, that you would probably enjoy Call of Duty more, because as far as feel goes, when actually just doing your running and gunning and shooting, it is Call of Duty, right?
Yeah.
But then obviously there's all the other systems and aspects and crafting and
the fact it's open
slicing
world,
stuff.
right?
Yeah, exactly. Which is very Call of Duty,
Yeah.
So Far Cry is fucking awesome. I hate it, but it's awesome. I don't hate it. That's harsh.
I understand what you're saying. A lot of the time, you do come away feeling quite angry.
I leave the game whenever I turn the game off. I play it for like maybe 4 hours. When I get to the point where I turn it off, I just want it off. I just want it off my screen. I don't want to see it again, because it becomes really stressful and tiresome and a chore. I think the game is good. I just fundamentally don't think I'm having much fun playing it.
You know it's good because you keep coming back to it.
Yeah, well, that's because I'm curious in the story. I kind of wish, I kind of almost wish, because I like the story and the characters so much, I kind of wish they'd just taken them all out of the thing, put together the story missions in one linear fashion, and I could just go through it. Right. I'd be happy with that.
It'd probably work well if they did that.
Yeah,
if they gave you all the unlocks and
Far
just
Cry
go for it, just do the story.
Well, it's almost like the story's too good for an open world game.
Sure.
Or the way it's presented is too good for an open world game.
Yeah, it sort of has. I don't know. It sort of has a Spec Ops feel to it in a way. If it was just like a solid single player with no sort of deviations, it'd be awesome.
I know there's a lot of kind of people have issues with open world games and having quite strong story, because they're like, well, you go off and do loads of stuff on the side, so the story's stretched apart and it's not presented the way.
I get lost in it. I forget what I'm doing.
I don't have that issue at all. I love strong narrative for open world games.
Well, this has got that.
Yeah, it has, and I love this game.
Yeah. All right, well, everyone should go and check that out then. There's a load of DLC as well and stuff, and I'm sure they'll support it for a while. But, it's a good game. I'd like to see Far Cry come back in a big way, because I do always like Far Cry, but it's weird. It's weird.
I think this is a strong game. I think that it's going to sell well, and I think
we'll be seeing more Far Cry.
Yeah,
we'll be definitely seeing more Far Cry.
Strength for hope.
Okay. Well, has anyone played anything else then? I haven't really played much else this week because of Far Cry. What about you guys?
I've mainly just been playing Far Cry.
Okay.
I have dabbled in Lego Lord of the Rings.
Yes, you played this last week, Joe.
I did indeed, yes.
I still haven't played this, but how? I mean, let's not go into it in too much away, because we covered it before. But how do you feel about it?
Yeah, it's positive. My general feelings on it. My problem is that I'll play Far Cry for extreme lengths of time, then put on Lego Lord of the Rings and generally fall asleep with a joypad in my hand.
Okay, yeah, that's fair enough.
Because it does have a lot of kind of slow plodding bits in it, especially at the beginning, where it's kind of giving you the story levels where you're sneaking past the ring wraiths and stuff.
Is it more grown up?
No, I'd argue the point that the audio files being lifted directly from Lord of the Rings is just that, and it's still got all of the Lego humour, and if anything, it relies heavier on the old kind of gestures and
Yeah,
comedy
sure.
stuff
It's still got the Lego
than
style. to it.
Batman 2 did.
But do you think this is more like, is a kid going to enjoy this as much as the other ones, or do you think this is more for you than it is, say, for Ella?
yeah, there's a lot of complex level design in this one.
Yeah.
There's sections where you've got the hobbits one side of a wall. It's during Two Towers section. I can't remember the name of the place. And it's Boromir's brother. I can't remember his name either.
Good man.
But he's on one tier in the foreground, and then you've got the hobbits in the background, and you need to physically press and hold the Y button, select Boromir's brother, and it kind of does a Star Wars style edit with radio clock stuff.
Yeah.
And it switches to the foreground, and then you need to use archery to help the hobbits in the background, and then switch back to the hobbits and stuff. So it's a lot more complex stuff. I mean, Ella has had a thrash on it, and I was playing co-op with her and having to do kind of quite large sections, switching joypads myself.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, she obviously she's drawn into it because it's Lego at the end of the day. So
Yeah, it's weird. It's funny how
got
much the
broad
Lego
appeal.
brand carries it. You know, so like,
Yeah.
'cause I was thinking, well, she's not going to really like Lord of the Rings, but
No.
yeah, but of course she likes Lego, so
Yeah.
you know, it makes sense.
It does have a wide appeal. As to how younger players will get on with it, I think if they're playing with an older sibling and stuff, then they'll get the enjoyment out of it as well. The open world looks immense.
Yeah.
I've only kind of seen Danny playing on the open world stuff, but it is huge, absolutely massive. And it is more that these are levels inside of an open world rather than a hub world that attaches to levels.
Right.
like
Okay.
before.
So it is mixing it up a little bit. It's
Yeah, I
getting
mean,
starting to do
it's got
different
fast
things.
travelling stuff. I mean, Danny didn't even realise. I was like, can't you just jump there? And she was literally trekking across the whole of Middle Earth to get to places and stuff.
Nice.
So, I'll dabble with it more and see where it goes. It does have some interesting bits that I've not really seen in Lego games before. It does have a first-person section.
No way.
In a fight between Gandalf and Saruman.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I remember that bit.
You
Yeah.
didn't tell us about it. Joe.
Yeah, it slipped my mind. Yeah.
I mean, they're only fleeting. As a general rule, it's all third person, and only when Gandalf is kind of teleported into the air and pressed up against the wall do you have to then mash the X button. But
Do you see like giant Lego hands?
Yes, and he's holding his little Lego rod firing lightning.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool, yeah. I thought it was quite neat. It looks like there's certainly value for money here.
Yeah, sure. No, Lego games are good, man. They
Yeah.
know what they're doing. It's a machine that works well. Yeah, all right, fairly cool. You played anything else
I have played Scribblenauts Remix for iOS.
on the iPhone? Yeah, I picked this up a while back, like,
Right.
like maybe beginning of the year. I don't know when it came out.
No,
Scribblenauts, man, it's great.
I'm really taken with it to the point where I've bought the World Pass.
It's like
for
having,
extra
it's
stuff.
like having, I don't know, trying to think of old school cartoons, right, where a dude would have like a magic pencil and draw on a wall, and then something would
Yeah.
come to life. It's a bit like having that in your pocket if you've got it on your iPhone.
I've got a quick pop quiz for Joe.
Right.
Joe, how'd you deal with a bogeyman in the loft?
I have no clue.
Anything. You can have anything to take him out with.
Chuck Norris.
I don't know if Chuck Norris would work. Mine was a lion.
A lion, yeah.
Replaced the bogeyman with a lion. Lions are fine in the loft.
It's cool. That sort of, it becomes like a maths game, doesn't it? When
Yeah.
you go, just the sandbox nature of it is what makes it fun. I don't care for the puzzles that much, but just like going, okay, what happens if I get 5 zombies, God, 2 police officers, a fire engine, a cat, a dinosaur, and a robot in the same thing? What happens? Who wins? You know, and that's what it's really cool for. It's like you
And
just
I'll
do.
have a jetpack.
Yeah, it's like having Celebrity Deathmatch in your pocket.
Yeah, it is. The sandbox stuff is
Yeah.
epic.
How much
And I
was
think, it's 69p.
Bargain. See?
It is, yeah.
And then I bought the World Pass, which is an additional 69p, which gives me 40 extra puzzles, I think.
Okay.
And then that updates.
And does this have the extra stuff that Scribblenauts put in, so you can go like a big red
yeah,
thing,
yeah.
and a tiny.
Yeah, you can put descriptive words in,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay.
And you can just put a massive gun, and you're holding like a ginormous gun, and it fires huge bullets.
Yeah.
It's wicked.
It is great. I mean, Scribblenauts has gone from strength to strength. It came out on the DS
Yeah.
years ago, didn't it? And then they've just updated it and updated it. And it's on Wii U actually.
Yeah.
So yeah, wicked fun to play.
So I think Remix has kind of 20 levels from Scribblenauts, 20 levels from Super Scribblenauts, and then 10 unique levels.
Did you ever play Drawn to Life?
No.
That was the other game they did before Scribblenauts.
And then it was kind of SpongeBob. They did a SpongeBob version.
Yeah, and that was quite cool. That was more like the magical crayon thing where you're drawing the objects
Yeah,
and
because
things you
in
need.
Scribblenauts you're writing words, aren't you?
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. There's been a bit of news this week that we should probably cover in some capacity. So let me just fire that up now. You had an interesting bit of news, actually,
Yes.
Sean. Real world news, not video game news. Do you want to tell us about that?
24 hours with no violent crime reported in New York.
Just how?
So New York, 24 hours, no violent crime, no stabbings, no shootings, no car crime or anything like that.
They may have happened, but they were not reported.
They were
to
not
the
reported for
police.
24 hours.
Jesus.
When we first talked about it, Sean was like, that's amazing. And I was like, that's not really amazing. I was like, what, really? That one day? Like, how bad is it?
8 million people.
8 million
Yeah,
people,
I know.
none of them kicked off.
Wow.
You know?
None of them reported it,
yeah, maybe just 47 on his Todd was doing all of the killing that day.
Yeah,
They're just
yeah,
putting
maybe.
people in dumpsters.
Well, do you
to
think
be
it's
found
maybe
after
like
24
emergency
hours.
services getting together going, look, if we all just,
Ignore the phones.
for just one
Close
day,
the doors.
we can get in the record books here. and then and people are like, we can't do that, we can't do that. And someone just keeps going, 8 million people. And they're like, yeah, we can maybe do that. And that's it. So just lots of people died that day. What was the death rate of that day?
Yeah, that's a
You know, just meant that there was no one maimed or injured. Everyone was executed. You know, a lot of bodies in the river. It's interesting.
It is.
Yeah.
It's shocking. But it's. I mean, they're really proud of it, and they're all like, yeah, you know, cool, 24 hours and nothing. It's one day. It's one day.
That's
Yeah,
8
but,
million
yeah,
people.
but how long has it been since they've had one day?
Well,
of
I mean,
entire peace?
in this room,
Well,
there's 3 people, and I want to kill Joe.
But you got to be thinking the day after that, right? A lot of people, a lot of crimes reported, right? They just made
just
up
like
for it.
people were just like, oh, what, a day with no crimes? Yeah, we're gonna have to sort that out.
It's great. I mean, did anyone check in the day after? How was the day after? Is it fine? Is there just no crime in New York anymore? Something's happened, or maybe all the guns have been turned into walkie-talkies.
I feel for them to limit to 24 hours that, shit must have gone down the next day.
Crazy,
Right?
it's crazy, right?
Yeah.
And when did they take it from? What was it? Is it midnight to midnight, or is it
Yeah.
like they're like, no, don't start, then start. Wait till about 4:00 in the morning, then it'll be fine. We'll go from 4 until 4 a.m. I don't know. It's crazy, but yeah, go New York.
Well done.
We're
you know,
impressed.
or go to New York. It's all right now. It's fine. So yeah, other news then. New Halo 4 maps are out soon. That was all. I had nothing really to talk about on that. I just kind of wanted to say it. They're out on the 10th of December, which is like next week.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. 3 more maps. There's a Crimson map pack. We've already got it because of the wonderful season pass jobby that a lot of people got, I guess, for Halo. I'm psyched for that. I need to go back to Halo. We were saying the other day, like, I can't remember Halo anymore because of Far Cry.
Yeah, I've got to go back to Battlefield because their new maps came out.
Battlefield.
Yeah, but their new maps came out
How
today
very
or 2
nice.
days ago.
How very
so-
2010 of you.
Yeah, but new maps.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, it's nuts. It's good. So yeah, so that's cool. Keep your points handy for those. I think it's 400 points. I think if you haven't got it in the thing, so it's not too bad. The Binding of Isaac, Joe. Do you remember you played that
yeah, they've got a
on the
console release,
PC?
haven't they?
Yes, Binding of Isaac Rebirth is coming to XBLA and PSN and various other places, I believe. I just wanted to mention it because you quite liked it.
Yeah, Binding of Isaac's awesome.
Killing people with your tears, if I remember correctly.
It is. Yeah, you can have bloody tears, you can have chocolate milk tears.
Yeah, it's great. It's lovely.
I'm definitely interested.
Yeah,
it
it's-
is definitely worth playing it.
It's cool. It's Edmund, isn't it, from Team Meat? It's his
Yeah.
game. So yeah, it's a nice style. Everyone should sort of be checking out. I don't know when it's coming, but it's coming soon. Speaking of which, Retro City Rampage got to be around the corner,
Yeah,
right?
it's gotta
God
be, man.
damn, it's been on PS3 for a little while now, and it still
Yeah.
hasn't come to 360.
I was thinking about it the other day, and I was like, how much has Hotline Miami gonna have ruined?
Yeah, well, it
Retro
turned out a
City
lot of
Rampage
people
for
didn't really like Retro City Rampage
Yeah.
as well for like style over substance, but we'll see. It's got to be around the corner. Did everyone see that Bungie leak, the Destiny leak
Yes,
that came out?
I
That was
did.
kind of nuts. Bungie obviously making their Destiny franchise for Activision in a 10-year deal that's, I think, 3 games, if I remember correctly, but it's to create a gaming world, yeah? To basically, they went, yeah, we want Halo.
Yeah.
Can you make us a Halo? Here's billions of dollars. And Bungie went, yeah, okay, we'll do that.
But it's gonna look a bit like Star Wars.
Yeah. So, but what happened is there was a leak, and it was from some sort of. It wasn't. This is not a staged leak, and this is not information that would normally come out to the press. This was like an internal leak of maybe presentation stuff, maybe marketing stuff is what it
Right.
looks like from what I could gather. And it's just a shit ton of concept art. It's like the synopsis of the story. It's like everything to do with the game that you would want if you were selling it to someone
Yeah.
prior to the public knowing about it. Just got leaked. So that's a bummer. basically.
Yeah.
You know, given the fact that, come on, all the stuff leaked before anyway about it being called Destiny and the 10-year deal, all that stuff was forced to come out because of the Infinity Ward lawsuit that was going on with Activision at the time.
I remember.
So they've not had a great run with it anyway. The plus side is, it looks fucking awesome.
Yeah, it does.
It looks...
From the concept art alone, it's looking kind of tasty.
It looks a lot like Halo.
Yeah.
Right? And it was always gonna. Yeah, but capes.
Yeah, exactly. Halo and capes.
Imagine Master Chief in a cape. That's
rock.
basically what... Yeah. So that's what
But
it looks
better
like.
than that, it's kind of like a ripped, burnt, tatty cape. Which is
like a
twice
General
as cool.
Grievous sort of thing.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool. It's kind of got a Star Warsy Halo vibe. It'll be interesting. I don't know when we'll see more on that. They've got a couple of teams working on different things at Bungie at the moment because they're working on Marathon still, aren't they? They've got a small team working on Marathon, bringing that back. So I imagine everyone else is kind of on Destiny. But it'd be interesting to see. It's cool. It's out there. Just you can Google it if you want to have a look at it. But there's some real juicy information about Bungie's next franchise out there online for everyone to see now. So pretty cool. That's about it for news. Shall we independence and play?
Aye.
Let's do it.
Yes, sir.
Okay, some independent games then. Once again, we journey into the Xbox Live indie game section, but we've got a couple of others that are worth playing as well. Sean, do you want to kick us off? What have you been playing?
The first on my list is Tempura of the Dead.
Tempura of the Dead.
Which is fucking sweet, man.
I've not played this, but Joe, I understand you have.
I haven't played Tempura either. I had trouble trying to get hold of it.
You can find it.
Yeah.
Can find it.
And then when he found it didn't work.
Yeah. Okay, all right. So, yes, tell us about Tempura of the Dead then, Sean.
It's nuts, kind of zombie game. Done in an 8-bit style, side-scrolling shoot 'em up. You play as the president, from what I can gather, the president of the United States, who looks like a bit like a caricature of Barack Obama.
Right.
And you're taught how to kind of kill zombies, but redeem their souls by a samurai. Who's just kicking around in, I think it's New York, it's either New York or DC, just like chopping up zombies. It's sweet, man. It's done in most games where they go like, featuring retro 8-bit graphics. You kind of look at it, it looks more 16-bit, right? Or it looks like a 32-bit running 16-bit.
Yeah,
graphics.
Scott Pilgrim says hello.
Yeah, this looks 8-bit from the cutscenes to the actual in-game graphics.
So what are you doing? What sort of a game is it?
Like I say, it's the side-scrolling platforming, and you shoot 'em up. But you've got a technique where you're gunning a zombie, and then his head pops off, and you have to bounce his head on your bullets, so you're kind of timing to get the head bounces to keep juggling the head. You do that like 4 times to one head, I think it is, and then you go into like Tempura mode, and every time you kill a zombie and his head bounces up, you can then like free his soul with one shot.
So what's the tempura angle on this? Because tempura is like deep fried vegetables, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just a catchy name, right?
I don't know. I didn't know. Like I was expecting you to be like a piece of asparagus.
No. I don't know what the actual tempura angle is, but it's just, man, this game is awesome. It drew me in straight away.
Fair enough. 80 points.
It might be 240.
Okay. Russian roulette there. Go out in your millions and find it.
Yeah, I mean, the intro's long, so if you're playing it on demo, you kind of have to bounce through the intro quite quickly, otherwise you'll just run out of time watching the intro. But if you buy the full version, it's pretty cool.
Okay.
It's definitely worth a look.
I played an indie game this week called Shark Attack was it Shark Deathmatch or Shark Attack Deathmatch HD?
Shark Attack Deathmatch, yeah.
Shark Attack Deathmatch HD. I think I'm going to put the HD on there. Why not? I was playing in high definition. And this is a first-person multiplayer game, deathmatch-focused game. Where the normal basis of the game is it's first person underwater, you're a diver, you've got harpoons, and you're just killing people, right?
Yeah.
But also similar to what you wanted with your zombies
Yeah.
on a previous episode, Sean. There's sharks in the water, and they will fuck you up. If you play the demo, you can download the demo. It's only 80 points, but if you download the demo, it doesn't give you the deathmatch mode, the online mode. It's proper online play. It just gives you like a survival mode. Survival mode's kind of brilliant. Kind of just dumps you in the water. It all looks quite nice.
Yeah.
I must admit, it's not a bad looking game. It's it's cheap, but whatever. And you're just sat there, and you've got to kill as many sharks as you can in a certain time limit. But the sharks, man, they're bad. But you don't get to kill it. You can maybe get to kill one shark. But the first shark you see kills you, and the second shark you see kills you. And it's cool. You leave little like bloodstains in the water, which I think attracts the sharks.
Right.
Should do, but I'm not sure if it does. But it's the way they come out of nowhere. And just before you get attacked by a shark, it does an almost Jaws theme, and then it goes as they come out, and then suddenly it's just Jaws fucking in your face. Just thinking, it comes up on the screen, you were murdered by sharks. And it's just like, it's really harsh and quite, atmospherically, it's really quite tense and quite cool. You have like a flashbang move where you can like pull out a grenade and flashbang them to get them out of the way, which they missed a trick on because the motion of when he does it kind of puts his hand up and kind of just like releases the flashbang right in front of his face, which is bad practice for a flashbang anyway. But it looks like he wants to put it in his mouth, because the shark's coming at you with the thing.
Sure.
And so I was getting a real Jaws vibe on it. I'm thinking, maybe it's not a flashbang, maybe it's a grenade,
And you
I
get
can put it in his
to
mouth.
shark.
Yeah, but you can't do that, which is a shame. If it was 240 points, if you could have done that, I reckon. So yeah, Shark Attack HD or Deathmatch HD or whatever it's called. It's worth a look just for the tension and the atmosphere that it creates. And also sharks are cool. Harpoons are cool. You have a harpoon with like 6 guns.
And you get a free screensaver.
And it comes with a free screensaver. One of the options in the mode is screensaver mode, which gives you a lovely like aqua sort of underwater scene, puts the time and date up on the screen and everything, and plays you chill out music. It's pretty awesome.
That's actually pretty cool.
I think it looks good enough to work.
It's worth looking at.
You
It's
just
worth-
kind of follow eels. I think
Yeah.
the thing that kind of got me, I've not played it, but the thing that got me about the screensaver when I saw it around here is that the movement of the fish and the animals looks really good.
Yes, good.
The
I mean, it's
eels-
simple
eel was
stuff.
kind of moving
The
really
eel's kind of the thing
effectively,
they make a big deal out of. There's an eel in the world that they make a big deal out of in the screensaver. He is in there. He's kind of the only. There's an eel and a turtle, I
Yeah.
think. But it's quite cool. The environment's all right. There's like a load of mines. There's a sunken ship, a sunken plane, some rocks.
Do you not have the occasional shark that goes by?
In the screensaver, I haven't seen one, but I'd imagine they must be, right? That's where
You'd
all their
think so,
efforts went. It's
yeah.
the sharks. So yeah, it's worth checking out if you've got a spare 80 points or just 8 minutes of time to spend on a demo. What else have we got then? Colosseum. I've got written down here that you've
Yeah.
apparently played. What is Colosseum?
It's weird,
It is.
but
Very.
I kind of liked it at the same time. It's an arena-based combat game,
Right.
but all the combat's handled through analog sticks, which in the past I've only played maybe 2 or 3 games ever where all of the combat in a beat 'em up style is handled by pure analog
Sure.
stick.
Well, so similar to like Fight Night stuff.
No, I don't. I think it's more effective for what it's doing than Fight Night. Fight Night I always prefer to play with buttons.
Right. Yeah. But I think they forced you in one of them to play with
Possibly
sticks.
Later
4,
ones, yeah.
but I never played it. 3 was the last fight.
So what sort of combat is this? Are we gunplay? Are we fighting? Are we punching?
it's,
Have I got a sword?
yeah,
Have I got a
sword.
Yeah, I've got a
sword play, and kind of beat 'em up stuff. It's funky. I like it. The graphic style of it is really good. It looks quite pretty, considering it's an indie game, and the characters are quite versatile in appearance. It's the demo is quite limited. I didn't go full version, but it's help me out, Joe.
Okay, right, yeah, so the combat itself, like you're saying with the analog sticks, if you go left with it, he doesn't attack to the left, you go right, doesn't attack to the right. If you press forwards, he does a forwards attack, or he can like swing his blades up.
So how am I viewing it? I mean, I'm not side on from that, I guess.
It's sort of,
Moving camera.
yeah,
It kind of rotates.
Okay.
which is like, it messes with you sometimes, because you're used to, with a fighter, using your right analog stick to like move your camera. In this, you go to move your camera, your guy will throw out an attack, and you're like, oh yeah, I have no way of controlling this camera.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
It does have a button where it will set the camera in one place outside of the arena, so you can see all of the action. But it's not a very good camera angle itself.
Okay. But it's just one-on-one fights.
In the beginning, it starts off as tutorial as one-on-one. When you actually get into the first level, You have multiple enemies
Yeah.
to fight, and it's like start spawning them, and they come in waves, and you have like a percentage of how many you've killed.
Okay.
Once you kill them all off, another wave will come.
And how do these guys go down? Are they like one hit and they're down?
No,
or-
no,
They take combos. I mean,
Okay.
you combo together, so you tap up and you string that together with double forwards and then down and back and stuff, and it does different varying combos. And
It sounds pretty interesting. It sounds like an interesting idea for how that would work. I can imagine that.
it's
being
more
pretty
effective. It's more effective than you think it will be. Certainly.
What's the setting? I'm getting a Roman vibe from the Colosseum thing, but
Yeah, it sort of has this
Sort of
feel
mystical.
Yeah.
Colosseum, I think, more than Roman Colosseum.
right, okay.
It like the first place you go to has a very Roman feel about it. So it's got big sort of stone structures in it, and it graphically it looks sort of
Cell shaded.
that's the word I was looking for in a way. But yeah, the game itself just didn't really appeal to me. It
I
was
can
just
understand. I can understand certainly from your perspective, and you're not very fond of fighters anyway. That it wouldn't have much appeal to you.
it just wasn't very challenging or
And
exciting
so
to play.
I
It
might
was
have to have a look at it. It sounds
yeah.
interesting. It's like you say, it's not something you get often on the indie game marketplace. It's a fighter.
different. Certainly.
You know, all of these sort of cookie cutter game kits tend to be sort of your platform games or bad RPGs or things like that. So it's interesting to see that. I'd be curious to give that a look. Sounds kind of weird. I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of hard one to pin down, but it's definitely worth investigating.
80 points,
240.
Yeah.
240.
Yeah,
It was a pricey
I'm
one.
seeing quite a lot of pricier games
Yeah.
popping up these days.
But then they tend to be of. They did price it on indie market does reflect generally the quality of game. I feel.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No.
No.
You've been burnt before.
Some of the 240s aren't great.
Okay. Well, like, are you smarter than a cheerleader? I think it was 320. So
Harsh.
just so you know. All right. Have we got anything we're going to recommend this week for someone if they want to go out and buy a game now? Have we got anything? Have you got anything?
No, not this week. I don't think.
Okay. Well, then I'll recommend you go and buy Shark Attack. I don't give a damn. Go buy it.
It's fair
Go
enough.
buy it.
Yeah.
Unless you think you should buy Colosseum.
I might buy Shark Attack.
All right. Let's go buy Shark Attack. Let's all go attack some sharks.
Then we can play multiplayer.
It's
Shark
fucking awesome,
Attack.
and it's fitting with Far Cry 3. You do it in that
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
But it's worth taking a look. Go and buy Shark Attack HD. It's 80 points. I don't give a damn. Be nice. Be nice. That's Independence Play. Okay, that was Independence Play, which means this is the end. Go home, people. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Episode 46, Things We Play in the Bag. We'll be back next week with some more gaming stuff. There's not really any more games coming out, as we spoke about. Maybe one of us will magically get a Wii U, or maybe that's a Christmas Day sort of opening thing. But it's time for us to start looking at our Games of the Year. So next week we'll be having our Game of the Year discussion, and we will tell you which is the best game, definitively, which is the best game that came out this year. We'll also probably do some more niftier stuff and let you know in some smaller little categories that maybe haven't been, as widely adopted by other media outlets such as ourselves. So we'll get some good stuff. You want to know what the best beard is in a game? We'll let you know. You want to know what the best indie game is? We'll let you know. You want to know what the best game is for making Joe cry repeatedly over and over again when he loses? We'll let you know what that is. So do check in next week for that. Also, do check out the website because we have loads of stuff in preparation, things going out from that. There's polls up there now. We didn't mention them last week, but we've got polls on the site. Have your voice. Have it be heard.
Yeah, we've got fireman poles, we've got stripper poles, we've got
Polish people.
metal poles.
Yeah, exactly. All the polls that you could imagine. So that's pretty good. Incidentally, we did check in the break where my advent calendar came from with its terrible chocolate that's maybe been urinated on by mice. Did actually originate from Poland. So that's not a slight against Poland. I'm just saying it's Sean's point of it maybe being in a warehouse for a long time is maybe applicable.
Nice 38% chocolate and milk.
38%, yeah, like the chocolate content was like 38% only milk and cocoa, so there's 62% of God knows what in that stuff. But there you go. If I'm here next week, I'm sure it's fine. If you want to get in contact with us, obviously you can email us at thingsweplay@gmail.com. You can always check the website. Like I say, I do urge you to do that, especially now. We've got some cool stuff going up there, www.thingsweplay.net. And you can tweet us on Twitter at thingsweplay. We're going to disappear for about 7 days, just
Vanish into the ether.
exactly
Gone.
bang our heads together and try and figure out exactly what was the best game of this year. There's a lot of games that you just can't remember.
I'm not sure how definitive our Game of the Year episode is going to be. I think it might be a definitive argument
Yeah, maybe, but we're gonna come out. I want to come out with this. This game is the best game that came out this year.
I think that's going to be down to the last man standing. Right?
Maybe so. Maybe
So my opinion then.
Yeah, I
So,
don't know about that. I'm not
well,
sure
you're
about
never standing, you lazy fuck. So that's fine. So yeah, we will see you in 7 days' time for more awesome gaming chat. Take it easy.
Bye.
Later.
Oh no! Fuck! Wait, different ending this week because we're a bit pumped up. It's fucking Christmas, right? We're gonna end it with something a little bit awesome. Take it away.